he is the Republic's head of state, and that is the Republic of Kenya. That is his presidential motorcade. Security beefed up. Kenyans are still lined up on the road there, as you can see, trying to catch a glimpse of the president that they elected and one who has taken an oath of office. And in his speech, he has said that the promises that were made during the campaign trail are going to be fulfilled in due course. That's the motorcade there leaving the Kasarani Stadium, an iconic stadium that has been very instrumental in as far as matters of leadership and governance of Kenya is concerned. It also witnessed the birthing of multi-partyism in 1992, and today it was a venue where a man aged 55, a man who has referred to himself as a hustler and a chicken farmer, has taken to the top seat in the land as president, and this is after the August 9th polls. I'm talking about President Dr. William Ruto there. It will take time to get used to that term, but we will definitely get on course. Now, as we see those pictures there on the far end, security is ready to receive the president. That is State House, and the outgoing president, that is President Uhuru Kenyatta, left the Kasarani Stadium early, and he is going to be receiving President William Ruto at State House as well, where we expect we're also going to be seeing other dignitaries also head there, maybe for a late luncheon that to commemorate, or rather as an icing to the cake, after this auspicious inauguration that has seen at least 18 heads of state attend to bear witness to not just a transition of a government, but also a herald to a new dawn in as far as governance and leadership in Kenya is concerned. Those are pictures on Thika Road. As you can see, Kenyans have been waiting. Some made it there very early in the morning, but even as we clock 4 p.m. this Tuesday evening, if you like, Kenyans are still remained lined up on the road, trying to catch a glimpse of the president there as his motorcade snakes through the CBD, so to speak. That is Thika Superhighway all the way to State House, where he's going to be hosting his first guest as the president, duly elected and duly sworn in office. Below there, we're seeing Rwanda President Paul Kagame there get into his entourage, so to speak. We expect that they are going to be guests of President Dr. William Ruto at State House. As you can see, preparations are underway. Security is beefed up in State House. And we see that outgoing president, that is President Uhuru Kenyatta, is seemingly State House from even dignitaries. We see diplomatic vehicles there. Guests have begun arriving at State House there. We'll keep tabs. Security is quite beefed up. This is where we're going to be having the ceremony where President, duly elect and sworn into office, Dr. William Ruto, is going to be hosting his first guests at State House as president, the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. His motorcade is still cruising through Thika Superhighway there, as other dignitaries, heads of states get, ushered out of the Kasarani Stadium. What you're seeing on your screen is none other than South Sudan's President Salva Kiir there, who was among the heads of state who honored the invitation to come and witness the swearing in, the inauguration ceremony of none other than Dr. William Samoei Ruto as the 5th president. Also speaking there in his speech is that the president reiterated his stance when it comes to fostering matters of trade, as well as trying to bring Kenya together and fostering trade across the East African community, as well as the African continent there. Some also good news, especially for those Kenyans who have been watching this televised broadcast either by stream, by virtual of being away from Kenya's borders is that the president, that is Dr. William Ruto, has said and affirmed that he's going to be setting up a diaspora ministry to take care of interests of Kenyans who are living abroad. And we expect that this is going to be domiciled within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but we're yet to get the nitty-gritty details, saying that it is important that for those who continue contributing to the economy through diaspora remittances also feel that they are part and parcel of, Kenyans when it comes to matters of governance and leadership. This is a clarion call that he made during the campaign trail, and he has emphasized that it's going to happen in his first speech as the president. Those are pictures from State House as well as Kasarani. Salva Kiir, the president of South Sudan, they're bidding farewell to fellow heads of state who had graced the occasion here at the Kasarani Stadium. A total of 18 of them representing different parts of Africa. We had the president from Somalia there, as well as representation from West Africa, Sierra Leone there. We had a representation from Mozambique there, Philippe Nyusi. Now let's have a feel of basically the take home from the president's speech, and I'd want to rope in my panel that has been here with us all the way from 6 a.m. this morning, and I'd want to introduce Henry Kurauka. What has been your take? What is your take home from the president's first speech after being officially sworn into office? Henry.
Thank you very much. My quick take is that the speech was very good. There have been very high expectations from Kenyans. I believe the speech has catered most of them. However, there may be a few challenges here and there. One thing that is very clear is the appointment of judges. That can give our president a lot of, asante, because that is an issue that has been disturbing us for a long time. So the Court of Appeal and the two judges of the High Court will be sworn tomorrow, and the appeals will move faster. To our farmers, it's very good news, because our farmers have been very resilient, very hardworking, and they are generally very serious people. So with the reduced fertilizer prices, we expect our farmers to make profits and to do profitable business. The only issue I have picked is the issue of housing and credit. For credit to be cheap in this country, then the government credit must also be cheap. Today, treasury bonds are very expensive, or rather the profit is very reduced, then the credit will be cheap. The government must also spend to reduce credit. For housing, I remember one time going to court instructed by COFEC, and we challenged a proposal by government to bring on the issues of housing. That is something that requires a lot of legal reforms and a lot of infrastructure, because housing cannot accrue in areas without other infrastructure like roads, sewerage system, electricity, and so on. Finally, I would like to say that we expect more from our president on the issue of the UNGA that we were really waiting all of. Thank you.
Gisora, what's your take from the president's maiden speech, so to speak?
I will say, Regina, it was a very inspiring speech. It's one which gives hope to Kenyans. You remember, Kenyans have been suffering. We have taken a beat for quite a while. And the speech he gave more or less gives or touches the places where Kenyans expected him to touch. Though he did not speak on the other areas, but he said he will be able to deal with the other things on a later stage. The key for me was the issue of Mombasa Port. He did mention that Mombasa Port, indeed, the people of Mombasa have been crying all along, and that has been a big issue for them. So we are going to see the port services go back to Mombasa, and the people will be making money and be making a living as they had been doing previously. The other thing is the Hustler Fund. Of course, that was his clarion call. We are going to see that being enforced or being put in place. And we are hoping it's going to touch the lowly of the lowly in the population. That is very important. The aspect of devolution, we has also highlighted that is going to actually is going to actually give all the funds and the services which are supposed to be done by the devolution. That is also was another key point which he raised. And of course, he also about the issue of EAC. He talked of going EAC and trying to, of course, be able to trade with other neighboring communities, and most importantly, he also gave Uhuru a job. Much as Uhuru has lost a job, he also got one. So that shows that
there's a lot of goodwill.
There's a lot of goodwill, and we are hoping to see a lot more good from him.
Indeed.
And of course, we wish him well.
Now, Daktari Rotich, a parting shot with engineer as we bring this to a close this session. What's to take home?
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Regina. I think what I must appreciate is the issue that even though His Excellency never came out very clearly on how he's going to reduce the prices of very essential commodities like foodstuffs, but he did mention that the government had actually tried to subsidize the same, but it proved to be very expensive. And there were also undernotes on corruption on the whole issue. And he actually said that that is the matter that he has to relocate, from the position of on the government side. And then again, that the government will look into the subsidies or to subsidize the farm inputs in form of fertilizers so that he can actually reduce the issues to do with the prices of foodstuffs. And on a high note again is that he has asked the Kenyans to inculcate the habit of paying taxes. And he said that this one actually we cannot succeed to fund the SMEs or the micro-enterprise development if the taxes will not, if the citizen of this nation will not pay the taxes. So this is something that he has emphasized, that taxation or tax capacity in this country must be enhanced, or the network must be widened so that the taxes can be increased. Then the government will get in form of revenue whatever they are going to fund the micro-enterprise development. So, and then again, the most important thing again, he has extended his hand to the immediate former head of state, that they will work together, they will collaborate together on issues to do with managing the nation. And he has also talked good about the opposition, that they were worthy competitors, and that he is reaching out to them that they must come up together to build a united Kenya. It was a good gesture, and we look forward actually to His Excellency bringing the nation together, and together we shall succeed. Thank you so much.
Engineer. Thank you so much. I think for me, I'll just say it was bold, courageous, and cautious in the same breath, given that there are some bold statements that he made. For example, the independence of the judiciary. He made that commitment and he has already fulfilled it. The independence of the police, he has fulfilled it. I think what we need to do also, extend the same independence to institutions like the county assemblies, which are supposed to check the counties, so that the treasury can also pay them their money directly, and they can exercise their oversight role independently. Courageous in the sense that things like the appointment of the judges who are not there, who are not appointed by the other administration, he has said he will do that, and he will do that immediately. Cautious in the sense that the issue of CBC, the issue of CRB, the issue of the money that people can draw, he has been very cautious, knowing that these are regulated industry or there are policies in place. He was very careful in doing that. But for us in Nakuru, we have lost. The port operations are going back to Mombasa. So I'm running to be the Speaker of Nakuru County Assembly. So my first order of business will be ask the MCAs to discuss these issues on the plenary, so we can tell the executive, we have lost the pet. What are you going to do about the economic zones around the Naivasha? So I'm looking forward to a very interesting mix of opportunities for both the county and the national government in terms of how this manifesto will be realized, in terms of how the administration will be able to realize its aspirations for the Kenyans. But I think it's important that we take advantage of the support of the international community that is here to do business. We are all here to do business. Let us make some money for Kenyans so that Kenyans can be able to put money in their pocket.
Indeed, and thank you so much. Of course, if I decide to get my take home, and we have the shows that we will be talking about that, I think I'll take more time. But for me, the take home was the election, the peaceful election, and the peaceful transition. And first things first, the president did thank Kenyans. I want to thank Kenyans in my own capacity as a journalist, because the country has been in an electioneering mood for 1 month. And we sitting here with the likes of Doc, Engineer, Kurauka and Gisore, trying to put things to perspective. Election, petition, swearing in, and now we have a new transition. I want to thank everyone, including, of course, our bosses, our editors, our cameramen, our crew in various parts of the country. And thank you indeed so much, Kenyans, for watching, for your comments, suggestion, and even criticism that surely has made KBC great. And indeed, thank you so much. We are now crossing over back to Kasarani, where my colleague JJ Kyoria is on standby. Thank you so much for watching. We will be leaving you in the safe hand of Harith and Mungai Gladys, who will take it a notch higher, but this time round in Swahili. Thank you so much for watching.
The culmination of the swearing in of President William Samoei Ruto. Obviously, a few things that he's mentioned really that are dear to his heart as he begins to serve as Kenya's next president, or Kenya's 5th president for the next 5 years. And the lowering of the cost of living being among the top agenda of his government, and particularly his emphasis on the focus on production as a way of reducing or lessening the burden on Kenyans, particularly on the cost of living, the price of unga, and announcing the cost of subsidized fertilizer from 6,500 now will come down to 3,500 in the coming weeks. And there is an order by the president that the Kenya Tea Development Agency, KTDA, also supplies the same fertilizer with immediate effect to tea farmers. And that also means that the government is keen on providing subsidized fertilizer, subsidized seeds, as well as subsidize any other farm inputs that may aid the farmers in terms of production to ensure the cost of living comes down, and particularly the cost of food in the country. Something else that the president has touched on, and I think which will interest every parent this evening, is the CBC, the competence-based curriculum, because you will remember part of a promise by Kenya Kwanza at some point was abolishment, and then later changed tune to enhancement. And the president has promised to form what you would call the Education Reform Task Force that will operate under the presidency, and that will go into looking into the form and future of CBC, of course bearing in mind the concerns by parents as regards the placement of junior secondary school. And the formation of this task force will really focus on issues of public participation to ensure that this, as the CBC is completely rolled out, that indeed there is a public participation on the same. An executive order coming through, obviously, this afternoon in terms of restoring or returning port operations back to Mombasa. And that means then that Naivasha and Dongo Kundu will serve as industrial parks in the country. But indeed, all port operations will be returned to the Mombasa port. And that, of course, will be good news to transporters as well as cargo loaders, and obviously the people of Mombasa and the coast region